Hello guys, welcome to Global Happenings. Today we have a trending news here for you, and the headline of the news reads: Southeast governors in trouble as plot to remove them from office heightens, Ohanaeze reveals. But before we go on with details of the news and further analysis, we'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish videos on YouTube. All right, let's look at the news in detail. Heighten-Ohanaeze Youth Council Worldwide (OYC) on Sunday raised alarm of an alleged plot to overthrow Southeast governors. This was contained in a statement signed by Ťr0ußlė, President General, and Ńyr0ve, Secretary General. The group accused the leadership of Ohanaeze of working against the Southeast governors in the interest of an opposition presidential candidate in the 2019 elections. OYC said the plan to remove Southeast governors would come through violent protests at the state and government houses ahead of Supreme Court judgment on the Imo gubernatorial election, noting that this was to create tension in the zone and possible emergency rule declaration. OYC urged the governors to fortify their state with enough security agents to quell any form of rebellion. According to their words, and I quote, "We will no longer tolerate further destruction from any Igbo leader against the Southeast Governors Forum, who are working cordially with President Muhammadu Buhari administration to attract huge projects for the zone. No form of blackmail from any quarters will derail the Southeast governors. We therefore place sanctions on the Igbo leaders who sponsoring verbal assault on the governors," the statement added. And this has generated a lot of reactions from Nigerians and mostly from the Igbo region. And the first one here say, "It's like the enemies are here in our midst." Another one say, "Can you hear these Fulani slaves in Biafran land talking trash as always? Few idiots writing press statement in the names of Igbo. Slaves will always be slaves." This one said, "My brother, these Igbo slaves deserve second death." Another one says here, "This one doesn't have their names in Ohanaeze's register, yet they often prefer drawing attention by using one nomenclature of Ohanaeze or the other. Remember one Kanu of YEAA those days always used the word youth when in fact he was representing the spirits. Kanu didn't realize that the right name for his dance is Spirit. Spirit earnestly asked for Abba, not YEAA, until it was late. So these ones, Ťr0ußlė and Ńyr0ve, should be advised to answer their names right. Ohanaeze province. This will even bring their much needed attention faster to them because they are only for one agenda and they know the agenda." All right, there are other responses from Nigerians, but we want to look at this issue critically, and a lot is pointing to the fact that whatever that is going on in the Southeast is actually sponsored by the Igbo leaders. And according to them, they said that most of their leaders are working tirelessly to maintain a cordial relationship with the current president, that's Muhammadu Buhari. And the essence of establishing that relationship is to attract huge projects for the zone. Yeah, we've witnessed one or two projects that have gone to the Southeast fairly recently, but I think what they are pursuing is far bigger than that. For now, there is another great agenda which most of the Igbo leaders are pointing at, and that agenda is the fact it has gone beyond just marginalizing them, but this time around they are seeing a situation whereby their ancestral lands will be taken away from them, and not just their ancestral lands being taken away from them, they are also believing that there are secret agenda for the Igbo land to be turned to a caliphate caliphate where the Fulanis will be ruling from, and that is why it seems, and that is why they're fighting, and they believe that all of this is becoming successful because the governors are actually working in line with the plans of the Fulani. Don't forget that fairly recently, the new governor of Imo State has promised the Northerners and promised the Fulanis that he's going to be working with them. He's going to be putting all their intellect at work to see how his government will be successful. And he has promised to build them so many houses so that they can be a part of his administration. And most people were not happy with that statement because already Imo State has been battered a great deal. Expectation was that as he's coming into office, his main focus will see how he will rehabilitate the Imo people, and not just doing that, but see how he can establish structures in place that will help the economic growth of the Imolites. Yeah, we know already that most people are fully targeting, secession from Nigeria and all of that. But I think one of the things that would draw the minds of the Imolite to his government will be the issue of working tirelessly to rebuild the economic image of the Imolites. I think that's where he can get it right. But right now, as we're talking to you, most of what we are seeing on social media or what is coming up as statement, whether it's from the Ohanaeze Ndibo youth or from any other angle towards or against the people of Imo State, it's traceable to the fact that tomorrow is going to be a big day, and we know what's going to be happening tomorrow. Imo State gubernatorial election judgment, which Howard had already been reached by the Supreme Court, is going to undergo review, and it's also under global spotlight. International personalities will be coming in, and one of them is the foremost Attorney General of the United States of United States of America. He will be coming in, and all of them are going to be a part of it. Right now, they already been on fasting to see how the mandate can be returned back to Emeka Ihedioha. Adding all of this together, that's why we are seeing a lot of talking, a lot of ranting from different quarters to see how they can frustrate this the possibility of the mandate being returned back to Emeka Ihedioha. And with that in mind, a lot of things are happening, and Nigerians are really, really looking up to that day because it's going to be one of the greatest days in the history of Nigeria. And that will make it the greatest day if the Supreme Court do the right thing. Don't forget that just fairly recently, some few days ago, the case of Leon of Bayelsa has already been decided. And being decided, it wasn't in favor of actually the APC or the lawyers who even wrote, for the review, because they ended up being charged 30 million for two of them. And most people believe that the reason why they're charging them that much is because they want to discourage any further pursuit by any lawyer to, write a review for any Supreme Court, judgment. They believe that if they give that allowance for the judgment of Supreme Court to be reviewed, and if there is possibility of change, that it will encourage all and sundry whose cases have already been decided by the Supreme Court to call also for a review. But don't also forget that this review we are talking about is not that we are challenging, or the PDP gubernatorial representative, that's PDP gubernatorial representative, is challenging their verdict, but only trying to raise concern over the clerical error, the mathematical error in their computation of the victory that they gave, to computation of the result that led to the victory for Uzodimma. That's what they're trying to do. They're not actually trying to say, well, we are not happy with the way you guys treated things and trying to bring up ideas. No, they're trying to say mathematically your computation was actually wrong. what they're pointing at is the fact that at the end of the day, we noticed that putting all that you put together, the total vote was actually higher than the number of accredited voters, which therefore means there is a mistake somewhere. And apart from that, it is absolutely not right for the Supreme Court to, be the ones to do the computation and announce the winner when we already know that there is an independent commission, that's INEC, that is in charge of electoral issues in Nigeria. They are the ones in charge of elections. So the highest I believe the Supreme Court can do is to cancel elections, but not to begin to talk about computation and turn the invalidated votes of a particular party representative. You turn his invalidated vote into valid vote. They don't have such powers to do that. So that is where the whole thing is going to revolve around. And as I did say before, we are really under a global spotlight. A lot of people are staring at us, waiting to see if that judicial precedent will be changed for once, at least, just to show that it was not it was not flagrantly fraudulent verdict as most of the international bodies are rating the verdict to be. So that's what we are looking at right now. So we are hopeful that everything will come to an end by tomorrow. But talking about plots to remove these guys, that's the governors of the Southeast, for me, it's just a way of distracting what people are currently targeting. Well, that's where we're going to leave it. Go to our comment section. Let us interact. What's your